DMV Hoop Session at the Capital Hoop Summer League, providing the best high school basketball in the DMV. DMV Hoop Session presents the South River Seahawks versus the John Carroll Patriots Capital Hoop Summer League playoff game.
And we'd like to welcome you to our third quarterfinal game of the 2024 Capital Hoop Summer League at DeMatha Catholic High School, right here on SASN TV. It is the 13th-seeded John Carroll squad against the 21st-seeded Seahawks of South River. Noah Schubert and Branson Brooks bringing you quarterfinals action. The first game, Bullis was able to handle the Vikes of Whitman. The second game was absolute theater as the DeMatha Stags advanced on a buzzer-beater turnaround deep three from Jamal McKnight Jr. to beat the defending champion Tenley Tigers in a 2023 championship game rematch. And now we have two teams in front of us who are led by some prolific players. I mean, Branson, starting on the John Carroll side, Aiden Abel has been making a name for himself in the summer league, putting up 21 points per game on 43% shooting, had 31 points and 10 rebounds in their round one win against Yorktown. 18 points, 5 boards, and 7 assists in their win over Cardozo. And he was a Summer League All-Star, and he's really putting this team on his back.
Yes, and Aiden Abel also had a 40-point game during his regular season run with the Capital Hoop Summer League Classic. So looking forward to him putting up another scoring clinic to try to move his team to the next round.
As for the Seahawks out of South River, Jamie Finn was a public school All-Star himself, averaging 18.7 points in the regular season and shooting 46% from three. John Carroll coming off of a 74-69 win versus Cardozo. It's the Seahawks an 82-76 win versus Pilati. Now, the win over Cardozo was great for John Carroll, but it was the victory over Yorktown in the first round that truly stood out because they were down by 4 in the final minute of the game, were able to grab 2 steals, convert 2 buckets to take the lead 61-60, and then extend their lead 63-60, coming out and winning that game against Yorktown.
Yeah, so in that game, they were able to show that the work is never done. They were down in that game, but was able to fight back with those 2 late steals. They were able to get the dub against Yorktown. So if this game is a close game, we know they will be balanced until the end.
As the win over Cardozo for John Carroll, balanced team effort, 19 for Caden Chania Feline, 18 for Aiden Abel, and 17 for Andrew Clark. As for the Seahawks, Jamie Finn, 25 points, 5 of 9 from 3 in the win over Pilati. Jaden McDuffie filling up the stat sheet, 19 points, 8 boards, 7 assists, and 5 blocks. And winning the tip, it is the Seahawks. Jamie Finn starts out with the ball. Dumps it down low to Jonah Hall. Hall in the corner. Out to McDuffie. Backs up. Aiden Abel is all over him. Nice pass, and the first basket. Fantastic passing work. Jake Evans starts the scoring.
Jake Evans impacting the game in the paint early. Let's see how he's able to impact it from inside and out.
And 2 near turnovers for John Carroll, and the third one is collected by the Seahawks. Laying no good.
A little out of control on that layup right there.
Seahawks can't afford to slow it down. 3-pointer is good. Jamie Finn showing off the range.
Jamie Finn not bashful at all. First 3 goes down for him. Let's see how he starts this game.
And Finn is a 46% three-point shooter in that regular season, and John Carroll leaving him open for reasons unknown. And before he's able to get a shot up, Andrew Clark called on the travel. So it's a 5-0 Seahawks lead. Just over a minute played, and that's a heads-up basketball play.
Or quick thinking right there.
Or it was. Yeah, we'll stay with Jaden McDuffie and the Seahawks. Long pass. And perfectly placed to Jonah Hall. Contested layup. And Alex Ehrenfried getting his hands in.
Yes, great lefty layup by Alex Ehrenfried.
And the answer from John Carroll, Andrew Clark.
Let's see how Jaden McDuffie sets up this offense early.
McDuffie gets into the hands of Evans. Back to McDuffie. McDuffie looking up to the corner. Hall. Evans. Flip to Hall. He sets the screen. 3 off the front of the rim. And Clark with the board. Down the other way, it's Abel. Abel sidestep, and his 3 is off to the left.
Abel tried to get the pull-up 3 coming down early in the clock. Let's see him try to get downhill early to get the team started.
Aiden Abel missing his first shot from the field and some early substitutes.
Aiden Abel coming out early.
Carson Schaffner and Paris Lee are in for Carroll. Ehrenfried eventually gets it into McDuffie. Down the other way, Jake Evans slows in the corner. Ehrenfried, flip. Finn looking for some room. Passes it off to Hall. Seahawks will move around. McDuffie down low. Finn couldn't trigger in time. Now he does on the run, and it's no good.
Finn with the indecisive move. You see him going to be doing that the whole game, tempting his shot.
As you see John Carroll force the Seahawks to wind down that shot clock, and Andrew Clark with his second basket. Clark now has all 4 points for John Carroll. They trail 7-4. Corner. All up top to Ehrenfried.
Jamie Finn with the pump fake again.
Thought about a 3. McDuffie keeping his eyes up. And kickball against James Westervelt. Now we've seen a lot of the Seahawks' offense early on has been coming out of the corner. And I don't know if that's intentional or whether or not John Carroll is pushing them that way.
It seems like they're getting forced from the corner a lot. They want to set up their offense from the top of the key. So.
As there's a 3-pointer made by Jonah Hall. Second team 3 for the Seahawks.
Yeah, Jonah Hall very aggressive early. McDuffie with the steal.
And McDuffie taking it the other way. 1-2 Euro, dumps it off. Layup is left short. McDuffie made a business decision to not dive into the John Carroll bench.
Yes, he wants it bad, but not that bad right now. Not trying to risk injury at the moment.
Not trying to pull one of those old Shaq moves.
Yes. Shaq was known for that back in the day. Crazy dude.
Vaulting his way over the bench.
Yes.
So it is a turnover, but the Seahawks hold a 10-4 lead with under 12:30 to go in the first half. Abel double-teamed, and he loses it.
So the early double team on Abel, they know he's a big impact on this game.
And he's called on the travel as John Carroll was able to momentarily get it back.
Probably lucky he got called on the travel call right there. Almost could have been charged. It did seem like he was set in the moment and kind of ran into him.
Now, it might be too early to judge, but we are almost 4 minutes into this game, and so far the Seahawks have been making Abel very quiet. Usually he's not afraid to let himself be known in games like this as a turnover by Jake Evans, and he missed his only shot that he's taken, and he just seems a little more reserved.
Yes, and what I've seen as well is early pressure on Abel, knowing he's one of the impact, if not the main impact guy for the team. So let's see if they keep that pressure to make sure to try to disrupt his offense.
Well, you have to think that Seahawks and head coach Darren Hall, they know what they're doing, as they know that Abel is the main scorer, and you don't want to give him any space because he will take advantage of it, just as he does right there for his first basket of the game.
Yes, and as you said, as you mentioned, not much space right there, but Abel able to carve up the lane for the layup.
Abel.
Yes, he is able.
John Carroll led by head coach Seth Goldberg. Deep 3 from McDuffie, trying to test out the range, and no one there to box out for John Carroll, so Ehrenfried able to secure the board. McDuffie loses it. Schaffner the other way. Watch out from behind. He's able to recollect himself. Dumps it off to Abel. fancy layup won't fall, and the ball is tipped right into the waiting arms of Jamie Finn.
Yes, but Abel is having to carve his way and try to get tough layups. He's not really getting anything easy right now.
I think that's a fantastic point. None of his shots have been easy. His lone three-point shot was contested, and both of his layup attempts have been contested. Finn on the run, and he gets bumped at the very end. Does not matter. Jamie Finn for three.
Yes, lucky that wasn't an and 1-3 right there. Great shot by Finn.
And Zach Smith bumped him. No response from John Carroll, and eventually it's Andrew Clark. It's Paris Lee on the foul.
You see Jake Evans bringing the ball up the court right now, trying to set up the offense.
And John Carroll, they've been playing some good defense. They've been poking balls out of bounds and forcing a few turnovers, but have not been able to secure consistent points off of those turnovers.
Yes, they haven't been a great job of disrupting Aiden Abel's production like we talked about before. So let's see if Aiden Abel can get going on the offensive end.
Aaron Freed with the made basket. He's got 4. Another three-point miss for John Carroll. They have not hit from deep. They're down 15-6 with 10:15 to play in the first half. Seahawks on the other side have made 3 team threes, 2 from Jamie Finn, 1 from Jonah Hall. Finn leaves it on the front of the rim.
Finn trying to do the crafty layup right there. Left it a little short.
And speaking of leaving it short, Schofner's shot sits on the front of the rim, and a miscommunication from the Seahawks. Turnover.
The Seahawks trying to get it down on the break right there. Not really sure who they wanted to start it off.
As the senior guard, Theardis Battle, disrupting. Trying to shake the Seahawks' momentum. Abel, corner 3, short. Put back, cleanup duty for Andrew Clark. He's got 6 of John Carroll's 8.
Yeah, Andrew Clark has been their main go-to guy in the paint right now. He's providing some timely buckets for them.
As Clark averaged just a hair below 11 points in the regular season, although he did score 11 in 6 of their 7 regular season games that he played in. As a turnover from the Seahawks. John Carroll trailing by 7, 15-8, 9:30. Abel down low. Foul will be on the floor.
Clark doing a good job of staying patient right there, waiting for the defense to collapse and draw the foul to continue the possession.
As McDuffie was jumping for joy, and he's almost kind of lucky that Andrew Clark didn't decide to go up with it, and the quick pass and the 1-2 finish for Aiden Abel. Him and Clark, the lone scorers for John Carroll.
Yes, and Clark and Abel able to keep their team in the game right now as a 1-2 punch.
Contested 3.
McDuffie is trying to get going for 3 right now, but struggling so far.
McDuffie has yet to score. And now closing the gap, chipping. Andrew Clark has 8 points and forces a timeout from the Seahawks for good measure, as John Carroll has cut this down to a 3-point game.
Yes, and as you see on that last play right there, Abel was able to dump the pass down to Clark for an easy layup. And as we said before, they're serving as a great 1-2 punch right now. Abel starting to get his game going, and Clark contributing as well.
So Clark with 75% of his team points. He's got 8. Abel, the other quarter, with 4. On the other end, Aaron Freed with 4 points for the Seahawks. Jamie Finn leading with 6, all of which have come from distance. As we've seen that John Carroll defense coming into effect, the Seahawks, they look a little flustered out there.
Yes, and Jamie Finn having to work for all his points as well. His lone 3 came off a pump fake to the shot, and his other 3 came off a contested shot. So let's see him try to get open off some screens, coming inside and out, and keep working as well.
Again, game 3 of our quarterfinals. The last game will be Spring Mills and the Cavaliers, made up of players from C.G. Woodson. It will be Seahawks ball after the timeout. And inbound for Alec Ehrenfried. Aaron Freed gets it quick into Jake Evans. And it was a steal for a moment, but they called a kickball against the artist battle.
Oh. I thought that was more of his leg right there. I guess the ref saw different. Unfortunate, because that was great hustle on the trap.
Seahawks will get another chance at the inbound. McDuffie going for the long ball, just kind of heaved up there, and the football star comes down with it. Flip to the corner, back up. Finn for three. What a sequence for the Seahawks.
Yes, you can't give Finn a look like that at three. He will knock it down most of the time.
So Aaron Freed threw the ball way down the floor. McDuffie able to clear out space, grab it, and then a streaking Jamie Finn caught it on the run and triggered early for his third made three, and now he's got it after the Seahawks force a turnover. Behind the back, and Abel gets it back. Nice move, and the smooth moves and layup for Aiden Abel.
Yes, great up and over after the steal to get an easy layup on the break for Abel.
Still a two-man show for John Carroll, as it's 6 for Abel, 8 for Clark, and now another turnover. James Westervelt
Great skip pass.
to the corner. The artist battle down low. Andrew Clark. It's short.
Yeah, Clark just left it short right there. He did a great job of carving out space with the drop step, but just couldn't get it to fall.
Fresh 30 seconds, quick into Abel, and he just gets around everybody and nonchalantly puts it in. 8 points for Abel, 8 points for Clark, 16 points for Carroll, and now a turnover as Clark will watch it bounce out of bounds. And I can't really get a feel about this Seahawks team because for every notable, smooth transition, passing play that they have, you get plays like that where they just don't communicate very well.
Yes, sir. They're having a tough time deciding who wants to run this offense to get everybody involved. Jamie Finn is obviously great at getting his shot, but he needs to do a better job of going inside and out to get other people involved.
Well, so now neither Abel nor Andrew Clark are on the floor for John Carroll.
Yeah, so this will be an interesting stretch for John Carroll to see who they get their points from.
Zach Smith has checked in the game, along with Caden Shania Feline. Down low to him. He'll turn around, and the first non-Aiden Abel or Andrew Clark points tie this game at 18 as John Carroll has been coming back. McDuffie back to Jonah Hall. It feels like forever since we've seen the Seahawks put up an actual offensive sequence, and they won't get a clean look there either. It's another turnover, but John Carroll gives it right back.
Yes, the Seahawks offense is not really flowing right now. They're kind of getting not really great shots, not great movement on the offensive end. They need to move the ball and pass more to get better shots.
7:11 to go in the first half. 18-18 on the scoreboard. Jonah Hall looking for some space. And a little bit of pandemonium here at our table. I think our producer Chris giving me a look. I'm going to tell myself I can only reach so far. I tried. I did my level best to grab that tripod.
Yes, if it was 2 inches closer, you would have grabbed it. It would have looked like magic right there.
I think the iPhone's okay. He's got a pretty big case on that thing.
Yes,
unfortunately, we may not get the booth cam for the rest of the first half.
You might not have the best highlights right now, but we're going to talk y'all through it. Don't even worry about it.
Up the court, Schaffner. He puts it up, bounces out, but he will get 2 free throws.
Yes, off the steal, Schaffner able to get out on the lane for the layup. Let's see if he's able to get these 2 free throws.
5'8" junior guard. 5 points in the win over Cardozo. 5.3 points per game in the regular season. And a 58.3% free throw shooter as he misses the first. Referees talking something, not quite sure, but they break the huddle fairly quickly. Schaffner's second free throw is good. So a 19-18 lead for the first time for John Carroll, as the Seahawks had it wire to wire up until that point. Ben Keith is new in the game for the Seahawks.
Let's see how Finn tried to get a shot right here.
Along with Hank Oxendine. Finn forced one up and it was off, and he knew it too.
He's having problems getting good shots right now. A lot of his shots are forced. He's obviously a very efficient scorer, so sometimes offense is just better than defense, leading to his 3 threes, but he needs to do a better job of getting easy buckets.
McDuffie over the top, finds Oxendine. Down to McDuffie. Schaffner pressing out on defense. McDuffie has a 6-inch height advantage, but Schaffner working valiantly. Finn looking for room. McDuffie all comes to the ball. His layup won't go. And the reach and foul on McDuffie. With 5:45 to play, it's his second foul.
Well, John Carroll doing a great job of keeping the game steady while Abel and Clark was out the game. Now Abel back in the game and make a late impact.
John Carroll rocking the gold jerseys. Seahawks in all white, or all black, pardon me. Three-pointer was no good, as John Carroll has yet to make a three. They get a steal there, though. Finn rises up to his feet eventually. And I think more free throws are on the way for Carroll. It'll be Cole Johnson.
Yes, Cole Johnson did a great job of carving space and carving it down, going down the lane, trying to get the layup.
Johnson, another undersized guard at 5'8". This is the first free throw. Aiden Abel is back in the game for John Carroll. 5:20 on the clock. Johnson off to the right. And a lane violation will give him a third opportunity to shoot.
Let's see if they take advantage.
And he cannot. Paris Lee couldn't get there, so Ben Keith secured the board. Finn gets it up the floor. It's in the corner to Oxendine. Behind the back. Trying to find room on the baseline.
Seemed like he tried to do a no-look pass right there and pass it straight to John Carroll.
It's Carson Schaffner with the steal. Bounce pass. Chania Feline. Aiden Abel back out. Cross court. Three-pointer on the way, and it swirls out.
In and out for Smith. He has been doing a good job of finding some open shots.
So far, no three-point luck for John Carroll. A relatively low-scoring first half, 19-18. They're still in the lead, and there's a steal. Seahawks are streaking back, and Jamie Finn puts a foul on Cole Johnson, who will get 2 more free throws. .422 to go. His free throw trips just about a minute apart.
Yeah, so we see John Carroll doing the right thing, at least getting out on the break and getting open shots. They're not converting right now. And on the other side, the Seahawks are just having a tough job getting these more efficient shots and great looks at the rim. So kind of a odd battle we have here.
Well, John Carroll has also been playing some fantastic defense, getting in the passing lanes and forcing turnovers.
Yes.
Johnson goes 1 for 2 on that trip. A battle, grabbed the rebound and just threw it up there, and it bounced in.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to hope, and that's what he did right there.
And almost another turnover. Oxendine was able to recollect himself. Finn, spin move. Finn to the corner.
Yes. The Seahawks need to run some screen action or some type of motion to get Finn and other players most open. It seems like Finn doing a lot of dribbling trying to get to the shot, and it's not serving that productive right now.
They're calling a lot of ISO plays.
Yes, yes.
And there's not a lot of passing or ball movement like we saw earlier in the first half, as it kind of feels like they're just forcing passes and trying to put their shoulder down when they don't necessarily have a height or size advantage by any means.
They do not. They do not.
Second foul called against Paris Lee. Seahawks able to get the ball in. Aaron Free put it down, and the three-pointer off the backboard, off the rim, and no. Lee over to Abel with the left. Back out. Three-pointer on the way, and left short.
Smith is getting these looks.
And nice contest from Aaron Free. He went up with Andrew Clark, and it was called clean defense. Finn, spin move. He's out of control. Up court to Aiden Abel, and he cannot track that down. Neither team is playing necessarily smooth basketball.
Yes, neither team is really having a clean style of basketball right now. A lot of hustle and a lot of turnovers right now. Let's see who can be the first to start getting some motion in their offense to get easy buckets.
Right now, John Carroll leads by 4, 22-18, with 3:15 to play in the first half. McDuffie, flip. Three-pointer. No for Jonah Hall. And the Seahawks not doing the best job at going deep into the shot clock as Andrew Clark makes his first basket in a while. He's in double figures with 10.
Yes, great drop-off by Aiden Abel right there to Clark again. The two have been connecting all game.
And now the trap. McDuffie just threw it down court, and Clark puts two big mitts up, swats down the pass. Battle has his pockets picked. That was a clean steal. McDuffie behind the back. Finn
needed to go into that contact right there. He avoided it, and that's why the shot was so off kilter.
Abel losing it. And almost thrown away. Finn open. And he can't hit. Both teams are out. They're out of sync right now.
Yes, there's no true rhythm in this game, but Clark is the one consistency that has been shown through both teams. Him being able to control the paint and get easy buckets down low.
Clark now with 12 of John Carroll's 26 points as they lead now by 8, 26-18, and Theartis Battle did not like that foul call.
Yes, Clark does have a great size advantage right now, and he is using it to his advantage.
Now Paris Lee called for his third foul. You only get 5, so he's probably going to sit for the rest of the first half.
Yes, at least.
McDuffie struggling to find someone inbound to, eventually goes all the way to the other side of the court to Jonah Hall. Hall, bounce pass, Aaron Freed. Looking for room, McDuffie sizes up, takes a couple of jab steps, retreats back. McDuffie pulling up for 3, no. Up the court. And Clark has it tipped away out of bounds under the basket. So 25 seconds to shoot for John Carroll. Basket and the foul for Caden Shania-Feline. The 6'3" senior guard. 19 points, 9 boards, and 6 assists in the win over Cardozo.
Yes, and Feline does a great job being a kind of third scorer for the team.
Put up 10.7 points per game in the regular season, and he missed his free throw. Lead now up to 10 for John Carroll. Floater with the left, way off the mark for Ehrenfried. Abel the other way, puts it up, and I think he might have been looking for an oop there, but there was a lot of contest. And you can see the frustration in head coach Darren Hall for the Seahawks as there's a baseline drive and the layup for Chania Feline.
Yeah, Feline doing a great job of taking that baseline and getting the easy layup.
Hall, 45 seconds to play till half. McDuffie flips it. That's a deep three. Ill-advised shot. It rims in and out for Jonah Hall. And Hank Oxendine does not like that foul call. Not one bit. And it will lead to free throws for John Carroll.
As you said before, very ill-advised shots being taken by the Seahawks right now. We haven't seen any screens being set, no pick and rolls, no cuts. They need to do a better job, as we said before, of bringing some motion to this offense.
McDuffie, he'll try his hand at a three, and foul on the floor. It's going to go against the Seahawks. Ehrenfried. Or no, it's going to be against John Carroll. Chania Feline called on it. 23.9 seconds on the clock until halftime. Seahawks at the inbound, and a block on the closeout. And Finn bounced off his own leg, and part of me thinks that the Seahawks just need this halftime buzzer to sound because down by 12, they look completely out of sync.
It seemed like they needed to talk it over. Battle knew Finn was going to shoot it as soon as he got the ball right there. So a very predictable offense the Seahawks are running.
I mean, the Seahawks, they had quite a lead, and then it's all gone right away. It's Abel with 5 seconds. Abel, turnaround, jumper, gets where it's supposed to go for Aiden Abel, and the buzzer sounds as Aiden Abel enters double figures with 10. Andrew Clark has 12, and John Carroll leads the Seahawks 32-18 as this game has completely swung in favor of the boys in gold. And I really think it's just come down to the Seahawks have been unable to have any sort of offensive set.
Yes, and they have really no consistency in their offense. It seems like they're doing a lot of one-pass shots and not really being able to get inside and out to create shots for the team. Jamie Finn has been able to get up open on a couple of threes, but besides that, he has been able to work for everything he has gotten in this game. And on the other side, we see John Carroll being able to take advantage of Andrew Clark having a height mismatch in the paint, and Aiden Abel being able to feed him while also creating on the offensive end. So the Seahawks are going to have to work on their offense to be able to come back in this game.
Seahawks led by 9 points from Jamie Finn. He's hit 3 3-pointers. Alex Ehrenfried with 4. And Jonah Hall with 3. And as we mentioned, there's a lot of work for the Seahawks to do under head coach Darren Hall. And the fact is that their offense just didn't look very organized. And they weren't moving quickly with it. They were moving too quickly, and they were barely taking any of the shot clock with them. I mean, we saw them, they were putting up deep 3-pointers with more than 20 seconds on the shot clock. Yeah. And when you have a 30-second shot clock here in the Summer League, it's not what you need to do.
Yes, and as we said before, a lot of one-pass shots. All they really need is maybe one pick and roll to get the offense started, maybe a pass and cut to the rim, and that will really open up a lot of offense that they've been missing during the first half. It's not that simple and not that hard. They didn't need to move the ball around. I'm sure that's what they're talking about during the halftime, to really try to get this game back and try to make it to the next round.
Well, they say patience is a virtue, and the Seahawks are going to need a lot of patience themselves as they trail 32-18 going into the second half. It's the pairing of Andrew Clark and Aiden Abel doing all the damage. 22 of John Carroll's 32 points coming from their top 2 scorers.
Yes, and as we mentioned before, Abel being known for his offensive output, scoring the ball, but he's been doing a great job of getting other players involved, including Clark, dumping down the ball for him, waiting in the paint for easy layups.
John Carroll will start with the basketball. The artist battle inbound as Clark Abel on the floor, along with James Westervelt and Caden Shania-Feline. Finn, Evans, Ehrenfried, McDuffie, and Hall for the Seahawks. Second half underway. It's a 14-point John Carroll lead. Battle. Three-pointer on the way. No. Clark with the board. Back out will try another three-pointer. Also not there.
Yeah, they're going to have to start sending two to Clark on the offensive boards. He just has too much of a height advantage down there.
There's a drive in and a tough bucket for Alex Ehrenfried.
Yeah, good job of going that Clark right there, but not a good job of getting back on defense.
Some players faster than others, and already a timeout called.
Yes, yeah. See, he did a great job getting the bucket against Clark, going into the defense, being able to absorb the contact, getting the layup, but he didn't do a great job of getting back, and he let Clark get an easy layup.
As Darren Hall not wasting any time to talk to his players, trying to coach them through the important moments thus far. It's Andrew Clark now with 14 points. Ehrenfried has 6 after his made layup, so they're 2-2 in the second half, but 34-20 where it matters on the scoreboard.
Yes, and as this game continues, I would just like to see Finn be able to get the ball and just be more patient with it, whether it's just waiting for the screen or passing it off and moving without the ball. That's really what opened up the game.
Ehrenfried will inbound. And immediately some commotion as they are running a full court defense on the John Carroll side.
Yes.
Very strict man-to-man, deep pass, basket grab from Jamie Finn, able to collect it. Drive with the left, put up with the right, but a travel on Jonah Hall.
Yes, Hall a little anxious right there, saw he had the open lane, trying to get to it, moved his feet a little too much.
Carroll will bring it up the floor to Abel. Westervelt. Shania-Feline driving in and a nice move in midair.
Yeah, Shania-Feline have been doing a great job of driving to the rim, straight line drive to get buckets.
And Theartis Battle quick on the defensive draw. Even as John Carroll takes a 16-point lead, 36-20. Finn.
See, right there, Finn needs a screen just to he would get open for a three as soon as he got it. And a lot of back and forth passing right here.
And a shot clock violation.
See, the fact that the ball did not move from the top of the key for almost half of the possession shows that they don't have really any motion in their offense right now.
14-15 to go. John Carroll with that 16-point lead, 36-20. Abel takes the screen from Clark. And the 1-2 dish to Andrew Clark. He's just going to take those layups all day.
Yes, and Abel is going to keep rewarding them for cutting and being open down there.
16 for Clark. Abel able to get the ball back. And he's going to get 2 free throws on the foul from Alex Ehrenfried.
Yes, Abel coming off of many high-scoring games in this Capital Hoops Summer League, but as you can see in this game, he's very unselfish with the rock. So
Abel's first free throw is down. 82.7% free throw shooter in the regular season. And Aiden Abel's one of those guys where, you look for the players who are going to take the jump in the Summer League and who are going to start making some noise and getting notice from scouts. And Abel's a prime example of that heading into his junior year.
Yes. College coaches are always looking for a big guard who can set the pace, do everything on the court, and Aiden Abel is the personification of that.
I mean, he's listed at 6'1", but he plays much taller as Finn knocks down a three.
Yes, and his frame is what the college coaches are looking for nowadays.
Pass out. Answer. It's saved by Westervelt, right into the awaiting hands of Ehrenfried. Finn on the run, backing up, and Abel will take it on the run the other way.
Kind of telegraphed that pass a little bit. Great thought right there, though.
Trio of substitutes in. Schaffner, Lee, and Smith for Carroll. Down to Clark. Abel takes the screen and finds a lane inside, but can't make the basket. Ehrenfried up the floor.
Great cut.
Evans down low. Finn reverse. And did not fall. Abel. Pull-up three-pointer is good.
Yes, Abel had all the time in the world for that shot right there, and he took advantage.
15 points for Aiden Abel, who is honestly kind of quietly filling out that box score. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of fanfare for this John Carroll team as the fans have noticeably thinned out from the Tenley Tigers DeMatha game. And when Aiden Abel is just casually knocking down these shots, it's almost like you forget about how good of a scorer he is, because there's really not a lot of emotion from him.
Yeah, very smooth game. Smooth, but gets the job done. That's why so many college coaches are taking note of him. Very simple game, but very productive.
Methodical in his approach as him and Clark will head to the bench. Cole Johnson and Caden Shania-Feline.
Wonder how much Clark and Abel will play for the rest of the game with a 20-point lead.
As that lead has now, it's pretty much blown up at this point, 43-23 with 11:55 to go. And John Carroll could pretty much be on cruise control for the rest of the way. I mean, you say that no lead is safe, especially you never know what's going to happen in the summer league, but the way that the Seahawks are playing and that John Carroll, they're playing pretty well on both offense and the defensive side of the ball, that a 20-point lead, it feels pretty sound.
Yes, at least it's now, but like you said, anything can happen. Basketball today is a game of runs, so we'll see.
And the summer league also has a tendency to have some heart-stopping moments, and we saw that in the DeMatha Tenley Tigers game. Left-handed shot forced up. Schaffner will take it the other way. Bounce pass. And Shania-Feline fouled.
There's great drop-off pass to lead to the foul right there. Unselfish play by the John Carroll right now.
2 free throws coming. And first one is not there. Now John Carroll they don't play with a very deep rotation. I mean, compared to some of the other schools that we see, they have 9 players touch the floor most games, but the minutes distribution is fairly skewed.
They have their core guys and they ride with them, and they're proving that it's proven paying dividend today. So
it's McDuffie frustrated that he couldn't hit the layup. He'll still get 2 free throws. Now Jaden McDuffie is an interesting character because he was listed as a top 25 combo guard in Maryland by Prep Hoops. However, He's also an all-county and all-Capital Gazette second-team football player. And we see guys doing it on both on the gridiron and also on the hardwood, but not usually to a plaudit level capacity.
Yes, and that just shows his work ethic really on both sides of the court, being that, there's football and basketball schedule aligned mostly throughout the year, so his work ethic is shown.
Hard charge is drawn. By the way, that was McDuffie's first points of this game.
McDuffie having a quiet game this game, but trying to get something to go and to at least end this summer league on a good note to go into the summer.
We averaged 12.2 points per game in the regular season, played in 6 for the Seahawks, as they still trail by 20. Trying to get some new life. Hall with the left, and blocked. The artist Battle.
Great block by Battle right there to use his length to affect the shot.
The first game of the quarterfinals, we saw Bullis take down Vikings of Whitman by almost 30. And now with John Carroll up by 20 as Aiden Abel flicks it up the floor, and the right-handed finish rims in and out. But Clark is there for cleanup duty. And John Carroll, they're going to be a tough out in these playoffs.
Yes, they are. And Clark and Abel staying in through this blowout to really nick out some of the kinks going into the next game.
So assuming this result holds, John Carroll will take on DeMatha in the semifinals, as Bullis awaits the winner of our final game between the Cavaliers of C.G. Woodson and Spring Mills out of West Virginia. Hank Oxendine in. Now looking ahead, as John Carroll will most likely face that DeMatha team, and I would think that the one thing that they're going to have to work on and figure out how to do is hit the three consistently. Yeah. Because we saw that's how Temley stayed in the game against DeMatha, is they hit 6 or 7 threes were against the Stags, and those points add up. And John Carroll, for how effective they've been on defense, which might stack up to DeMatha's vaunted full court press, and there's another turnover forced, is that John Carroll has been playing some stout defense against this Seahawks squad.
Yes. Well, one thing that John Carroll won't have to their advantage against DeMatha that they have in this game is size. So like you said before, it will be vital for them to knock down the three-pointer in their game against DeMatha, and like you said, continue to play great defense full court.
Well, Andrew Clark now with 20 points, and it's pretty much all been the exact same way. He just gets it down low, makes one move, and puts it right back up.
Yes, yes. But with DeMatha having players like Banks, it will be interesting to see how he fares against him if they are fortunate enough to win.
I mean, they do have some height. Charles Thomas, Bo Daniels. And with really the only big man for John Carroll being Andrew Clark, it's also going to be whether or not he can stay out of foul trouble, which he really hasn't been in foul trouble this game at all, but also because they haven't really had to play hard defense underneath the basket as Aiden Abel connects on his second three.
Yes. Clark has been all he had to do this game is put his hands up and play great, efficient defense. Next game, he will have to slide his feet, protect against lobs and things of that sort. So he will have his work cut out for him.
As that's now 18 points for Aiden Abel. 9:17 to go. A 51-24, 27-point lead for John Carroll, as Seahawks have only been able to muster up 6 second-half points thus far, compared to John Carroll's 21. inside, foul.
Hall has been very active on the offensive side this game. Haven't really been able to get much to fall, but he has still been trying his best to keep the team in the game.
So the Seahawks took down Riverdale in the first round to square up against the 5 seed Pilati, and as the 21 seed, they upset Pilati 82-76. But I think a lot of that came on a fantastic shooting night. They shot 45% of the field, 21 of 60, and 45% from three-point range, 9 of 20. And this game has really not been those same numbers that they did against Pilati, and that's been the deciding factor, is that they have not been able to hit their shots.
Yes, and it just doesn't seem like they're getting the same looks that they were getting against Pilati, which is kind of seems why their field goals percentage has dropped so low. They're not able to get those looks off of the down screen that they were getting in the first game, and is paying to their loss, to their faults.
Andrew Warfield is in the game for John Carroll. Cleanup crew, Caden Shania Faline. He's got 10. Andrew Warfield, a 6'2" junior guard. As there's a three-pointer connected by Jonah Hall. His second made three of the game, his first since the first half, and Darren Hall wants a timeout.
Nice to see Hall get a nice bucket. He's been struggling for most of the game, so nice to see him see one fall down after we get to the end points of this game.
It's a 53-28, 25-point advantage for John Carroll. As with 8:12 to go, there's still a lot of basketball to be played in this second half. And Branson, sometimes it can be hard to keep going with full intensity. I mean, for all intents and purposes, the Seahawks are well out of winning this game, but you just still got to keep playing for 8 minutes. You can't just keel over.
Yes. Got to have a sense of pride, and obviously all of these players do. They love the game of basketball, so they want to give their all, especially with this being a one and out situation. So obviously they won't bow down going into the last minutes of the game. So let's see if they're able to find some offense and really kind of go into the summer knowing what they want to do.
And I mean, basketball, it's inherently fun. I mean, even when you're playing in rec league or even pickup at the YMCA, I mean, you're still going to play and enjoy the game. Is a three-pointer on the way for Warfield? No.
The Seahawks are still battling, even though the game is pretty much out of the hand right now. But they're still battling the offensive rebounds and trying their best.
And I like to see that. And I like to see that they haven't, put their head down. And is that since John Carroll is still competing, because easily the Carroll team could just slow down and try to dribble out the shot clock every time, but they're still moving quickly. And I think this is also a time where you can test out plays and really get team chemistry going together, as John Carroll will call a timeout, especially, as we mentioned, John Carroll with the tough task of DeMatha ahead of them.
Yes. So maybe that could be a reason why they're leaving Clark in there, knowing that he will have to prepare for a lofty game next against DeMatha, trying to set him up in defensive schemes, maybe just testing some things out in these closing minutes of this game.
I've noticed that in the summer league especially, there really is no resting players.
Yeah.
I mean, you get coaches will put their best players out until the very end of the game. Now, with that being said, Aiden Abel is on the bench for John Carroll. And I mean, last time we said we wouldn't know if he would come in, and that was 4 minutes ago, and then he was able to check back in the game and knock down some shots.
Yeah, so maybe you just want to come in and just get the fans a little show before the game ends. We'll see.
Johnson. It's a cross three-pointer coming, and from the opposite corner, it's in.
Yes, sir. Lefty able to knock it down from three.
James Westervelt. He shot above 42% in the regular season. Or pardon me, that's not Westervelt. That's number 15, Carson Herr. It's Herr, the 6'2" sophomore guard. Averaged just under 3 points per game in the regular season, and he's met that 3-point mark already. Offensive rebound for the Seahawks. Back out, 3, and misses everything. Up the floor, and where was that all game?
Yeah, he's been working all game in the paint. Had to show us he can get a little bouncy too.
The 6'8" junior skying up and putting a little bit more enthusiasm into a game that has been kind of shutting down. As a hostile play, the Seahawks are able to score on the other end. Floater. It's back out. Johnson trying to find room, and he can't. And I might be wrong, but I think that Andrew Clark messed up the netting. Because part of the net at the front there, it's sticking out.
It is chipped out. It is poked out a little bit. Interesting, because you'll normally see that on a swish 3 or something like that, but on a dunk, very interesting to see.
And I truly think that he threw that ball down so hard that it poked out that securing part of the net.
And the only way to end the game off is with an exclamation to show how he's been putting in work in the paint.
Under 6 minutes as Carroll leads by 28. And it's been fully the Andrew Clark and Aiden Abel show. I mean, this whole game. Clark has now 22 points. It's a season high for him. It's Aiden Abel matching his point total from the previous game with 18. As now Joey Greco is in for John Carroll. And I think this might be a chance for the bench to get on the action.
Yeah, it's always nice for the people who don't get as much run as the starters to get in the game to get some much-needed experience.
As with 5.5 to go, Seth Goldberg has been giving a lot of players experience. Neither Herr nor Greco are normal starters. And Zach Smith is getting some quality minutes, along with Andrew Warfield, who, by the way, is rocking some of the cleanest shoes I've ever seen.
And them joints are nice. I feel like
those Anthony Edwards shoes.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards, he's trying to get bouncy. We'll see if it works for him for the end of this game.
Well, he can't bounce from the free throw line.
Yeah.
But the ball does bounce in.
Yeah.
So that counts a little bit.
Yes, yeah.
Warfield only played in 3 games in the regular season. Average under a point per game. 3-pointer. Smith with the board. Flips it out. And you can see that even the John Carroll second and third team players, they are smooth with their passing. They seem to be on the same page.
Yes, it seems like the principles are instilled throughout the whole team. So when subs get in to close the game, nothing changes. They still try to get the same efficient shots, and they still try to get the same looks.
Now the Seahawks only have 7 players available for this one. No Jackson Suggs and no Stephen Carr, or no Devin Johnson, excuse me. Jonah Hall at the line with 4:40 to go as we see the players from the Cavaliers and from Spring Mills at the ready. Spring Mills from West Virginia, the 10 seed in these playoffs. C.G. Woodson, an undefeated team. They had the chance to be the 1 seed, but DeMatha was drawn in the random lottery as they were both 8-0.
Yeah.
In what was a highly viewed Instagram Live that Capital Hoops went on.
Yeah, kind of had that NBA All-Star raffle type feel to it.
It's kind of like when they used to do the live. David Stern would fish for the envelope to get the #1 pick in the draft.
There's lots of drama. Really makes the picking of the team really eventful, kind of more interesting for fans to watch.
Well, because also there was drama with who would be getting the first-round bye or not, because it was the top 8 seeds, and there was a point in time where there were, I believe, 6 or 7 teams that were vying for, I think it was 4 spots to get a bye.
Yeah, that just showed the level of talent and the consistent level of talent we have in this game, as we have an and 1 from the Seahawks. But like I said before, that just shows the consistent level of talent we had in this game, that we had so many people with similar records that were very comparable in this Capital Hoops Summer League. So it's great to see.
And I truly do believe that when these Final Four teams pan out, we will have the best 4 teams that we've seen. Although John Carroll, just that small bit of an underdog. I mean, coming in as the 13 seed, in theory, on paper, they I guess you could say they shouldn't be in this Final Four. But Bullis was the 6th seed coming into the playoffs, and they were a strong 6th seed. They had some hiccups in the regular season that prevented them from competing for that 1 or that 2 or that top 5 spot, but they still did get that first-round bye, and they earned it in the process.
Yes.
And both the Cavaliers of Woodson and Spring Mills, 2 very talented teams. Free throw is down, and in these last 4 minutes and 12 seconds, it's really just playing for kind of honor and the game of basketball, looking to see just what the final score can become. Seahawks seeing if they could close the gap at all. And that's a nice move and a nice reverse layup.
Great move right there. Great step through to get open to the other side.
And there's a trap. Other side, jumper, falls through. As the depth of John Carroll on full display, Charlie Reinhart, a sophomore. Track down, spin move by Johnson. And he trips. I think he just straight lost his footing.
Yes, a little bit of both. A little bit of both.
So 61-39. 22-point advantage for John Carroll. I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due. Hank Oxendine has been taking full advantage of his extended minutes here at the end of the game. He had the nice reverse layup. He's been showing off some of the handles, getting to his spots on the floor.
Oxendine has been doing a great job of showing some of his skill to close out this game, showing maybe what's to come in the regular season.
First free throw. I think you're absolutely right. This is not just a time to play basketball, but also to prepare for the season for a lot of these teams. You know, you get seniors that graduate, and you get players who are going to be stepping up into elevated roles when November, December comes around. And these are the moments where you can afford to make mistakes, because at the end of the day, it is a competitive summer league, but when you're playing for state championships, regional championships, district titles, league, division, whatever it may be, this doesn't matter on paper.
Yes. And as we said before, even players like Aiden Nabel being able to come into his own during this summer league. It's a time for players to grow and really just enjoy the game of basketball. So it's a great time.
And as the Seahawks have gone on a little bit of a run, it's still an 18-point basketball game. John Carroll built up well enough a cushion to fend off any comeback attempt from the Seahawks, 61-43 with 2:38 to go. But Seth Goldberg just kind of wants to slow things down and get his players back in the game, say, hey, you know, we're up by a lot, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to still try. We're not still going to play John Carroll basketball.
Yes. And like we said before, they're still doing the same principles that the starters were doing from the whole game. So to see them still instill that and really be able to get the open shot that they were giving throughout this entire game is really a sight to see.
So with 2:38 to go, both teams make their way back out. So we get into the waning moments of, at the beginning of this game, it was the Seahawks running away with it. They were up by a lot. They were hitting shots, and it looked like that they were just going to take it to John Carroll. And then all of a sudden, John Carroll forced some turnovers. They were able to hit some shots of their own, and the game got a lot more interesting before it completely fell in the direction of Carroll.
Yes, and John Carroll did a great entire team effort, even though they had a great 1-2 punch from Abel and Clark. So they were able to carry that throughout the whole game. And then the Seahawks were never able to get any consistent offense to carry them throughout the first or second half, causing them to have a hard shooting night. So that really was the story of the game.
And I think you're absolutely right. It was just a lack of shot making that the Seahawks were suffering from in this game. And I think it was also the ill-advised shots. They not working down the shot clock, not trying to find passes down low, just pulling up for three from 23, 24 feet away, which at the pace of these games and at this level are not high frequency and not high level shots.
Yeah, so I think one thing the Seahawks can take with them going into the regular season and really instill into their offensive principles is really thinking about patience. Really think about if you 1, 2, 3 seconds coming off the ball, thinking about passing, then cutting after the pass, and really just running more cleaner offense. That's something they should focus on instilling as we head into the summer.
Back-to-back free throw trip for the Seahawks. Now the rebound from John Carroll. And the Seahawks still fighting. Held ball. .151 to play. It's a 16-point ball game. It's a deep inbounds to Jonah Hall. And John Carroll, they're putting on a lot of contact here.
Yes, yeah. They're letting them feel at the end of the game is crazy because they do have a pretty sizable lead. So to see them give this effort is pretty nice to see.
I mean, I think that's something also about high school basketball is that no guys ever give up. They cherish their minutes and their time on the floor so deeply that there's never a sense in any high school basketball player's mind of no matter if you're down by 5 or down by 55, they're going to play each moment with the same heart and the same intensity.
Yes, very true. And high school would probably have a lot more energy at that age as well. You know what I'm saying? This came from a long day, or really not a long day. They are in summer, so they probably have not a lot to do. So this is probably their activity of the day.
I was gonna say, I don't know what high school you came from, but
Hey, I was out there in California, so it was kind of different.
they do think different on Cali time.
Yeah, a little bit.
So they have high school in late June in California.
They have some high school that go out there, but I'm talking about summer league schools,
Summer school.
Yeah, summer school.
13-point deficit. And this final score, it's not going to be indicative of the pace of this game by any means.
Yeah.
Because these last, honestly, most of the second half has not really been John Carroll playing at 100% of their capacity. And the Seahawks have had ample opportunity to bring this game closer. As with a minute 35 to go, it's a 12-point game, and this game might end in the low double digits of a difference, or maybe even the high single digits. But I would say that John Carroll tonight was a 20 to 25-point team better than the Seahawks.
Yes, and they showed it the entire game. Like I said, the reserves for the Seahawks were able to come in and show that they weren't going to go down lightly, which shows that the final score of the game. But throughout the overall game, John Carroll was able to control the flow of the gameplay, which shows why they were able to come out with the W.
Work around. Keith.
Great steal by Reinhardt.
And he puts it up and in. And his bench is hyped up. I love that when you get these players who don't really see the floor and they get these opportunities to score at the end of the game, the bench is always right behind them. The teams are so passionate for their guys because everyone puts in the same amount of effort off the court. Practice, weight room, training, coaching, the things you don't see. And everybody does, unless you're doing specific individual activities, the same thing. And they're putting in that same effort. And, you know, when these reserve players get the opportunity to play, it's special for the starters to watch them thrive in moments like this.
Yeah, this is another way to build team camaraderie, really. Players love to see their teammates succeed. It makes them feel good, especially when you're a starter who's always at the game after a great win. To see the rest of your teammates succeed has to be an amazing feeling.
John Carroll able to move it up the floor. About 17 seconds divide shot clock and game clock. But at this point, there's no need for John Carroll to put up any form of a shot. They still will, though. And as that rims in and out, it's Cole Johnson with a valiant putback attempt.
Yeah, it seemed like he kind of
got some bounce.
Yeah, he got blocked by the backboard right
there.
there.
5'8", but he got his head up there.
He tried. Good attempt.
Well, someone who's vertically challenged myself, it's nice to see people around this height able to do some things.
You know what I'm saying? Shows you what to reach for, what could have happened, you know. Definitely feel that.
21 years old and 5'7", I think that my dunking journey might have ended a while ago.
Hey, man, you always hop on that Vertimax, you know. You always hop on that Vertimax. Get right.
Work on the explosiveness a little bit in the offseason.
Just a little bit.
I think my greatest achievement is I touched the bottom of a double rim. That's not so you know those like outdoor court double rim, touch the bottom. As John Carroll will dribble it out and mark their place in the Final Four. They take this game 65-50 over the Seahawks. They will take on DeMatha next Tuesday to be exact, Andrew Clark, a methodical 22 points, and Aiden Abel got his with 18. And John Carroll wins by 15 over the Seahawks. Jamie Finn with 14 points, made 4 threes, but this whole game, apart from the beginning where the Seahawks were up by a decent amount, it was John Carroll. As soon as they took that lead, rest of the way it was all them.
Yes, and as soon as John Carroll was able to get their 1 and 2 punch going, and Aiden Abel and Clark, they was smooth sailing for them for the whole game. They had an advantage in the size category, and they were able to use it and get the dub. The Seahawks were never able to get a consistent offense going, crediting them to not being able to stop John Carroll on the defensive side. And it was a great game for John Carroll heading into their matchup with DeMatha.
Well, the Cavaliers in Spring Mill will give us our nightcap in just a little bit, but for Game 3, that'll do it. John Carroll on to the semifinals. Noah Schubert alongside my co-worker over here, Branson. It's been a pleasure. As we'll cruise on into our 4th game, you've been watching the quarterfinals right here on SASN TV.
DMV Hoop Session at the Capital Hoop Summer League, providing the best high school basketball in the DMV.